What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven. This is Steven in Stereo. Today, a little bit more chill. So I kind of put this off for a while because I'm not a fan of doing like videos for things when the feeling is just too raw at that time. I never want to seem like I'm doing something just to try to get like attention off of the moment. I'm very respectful of times like this. Jaden lost his best friend, Cooper. Really fucking sad. And he put out, the reason we're doing this is because he did put out some songs for Cooper called Beautiful Boy and Even in the Dark. And we're going to be reacting to those today. I'm going to leave a link to the foundation that Jaden has set up for Cooper and in memorial of Cooper. It's going to be in the description. Make sure you guys check that out. I have a feeling this is going to be deep. This is going to be super heavy. I know any of you who have lost anyone in your life, you know how fucking hard it is. Anybody who's lost a really close family member or a friend, you definitely know how hard it is. And I know that Jaden is definitely still going through it. It's just a hard fucking time. So again, I want to give a huge shout out to Emily over on Patreon for actually requesting this video. Also, like, teaching me a little bit about their relationship and just kind of telling me things about the foundation and stuff like that. Like, I felt good doing this, knowing that, you know, I could at least leave a link to that and spread that kind of information. So this is Beautiful Boy and Even in the Dark. Damn it.
To say you were hiding your pain behind your face, underneath your smile, just a broken child.
This is the thing where music is very therapeutic. I think this is what Jaden said when he tweeted this out, was that it was kind of like his therapy session for this. It was a great outlet. I talk about music being an outlet all the time, and this is one of the reasons why I feel like a lot of most genres in general, but alternative music, like, I feel like really works and lends in favor to being able to be this outlet where you can have the aggression, you can have the beauty, you can have the melody, all of those things kind of coming to life. And you hear that so much in this already. And like, it hurts at the same time though, because you know that, like, what a painful fucking thing to have to try to write, especially when you're still dealing with it. But I know that it probably aided in a lot of like being able to just let that loose for just a little bit.
Beautiful boy inside your head, couldn't handle how loud the voices get. I hope it's quiet now, I hope it's quiet now. And if you hear me, just give me a sign, 'cause I don't know why. Why'd you go so soon?
Oh. Even though you're not here, you hold my hand. I often talk about, like, anytime someone close to me or my family, friends, whatever dies, I always say, like, people will be like, oh, I really miss this person. I'm like, no, like, that person lives on through the things that they left behind, whether it's like jokes or things that they taught you or like ways that you guys used to do things. And so when I think about that line, I immediately think of like, no, like, even though you're not here, like, you know, regardless of like if you believe in like, you know, the afterlife and stuff, which I think Jaden does, but like for those of us that even don't, like, I just think about like memories that I had with that person, and kind of like when I kind of like exist through my life, I just think about those moments and what it would be like if they were there, and it kind of feels like for that moment you're close with that person again.
Save a place for me. Yeah, you got me staring at the wall, waiting, but you never call. I just wanna talk to you, I guess I gotta talk to God. I just saw you yesterday, I had so much left to say.
Oh, that melody right there.
Why'd you go so soon? Why'd you go so soon? When you said and you promised you wouldn't, I would've followed, but you know that I couldn't. Why'd you go so soon?
I love that backing guitar, and this is just like such a like somber sound here. Definitely giving me like some British punk, British pop kind of vibes too at the same time. Okay, like literally a song like that is fucking crushing, but I love that Jaden was able to make it sound so beautiful, being that outlet. Essentially, we're just saying like, I'm having trouble coping with the fact that like this life was cut short, and I'm trying to deal with that on a regular basis, even though I kind of knew these things were going on with you, even though like I could see you struggling, you were able to hide it so well, and the reality just like never hit. And now that you're not here, like I need you. And so because I can't talk to you, he even says, I can't talk to you, so I guess I have to talk to God. I'll have to just speak through him to you, and hopefully I can somehow feel connected with you. And like I said, remember those memories, remember those lessons, remember the inside jokes. Things like that are always going to pull you closer to the person that is no longer there. I have a friend that passed away actually unexpectedly. He was like sick, and he was young, like he was in his 20s, and like he was sick with something else, and he like got put in the hospital, and it turns out he had like stage 4 throat cancer, and he like passed away like just a little bit after that. And it was like completely random, but like I have songs that I recorded with him when we were in high school, and they're terrible, they sound horrible, but like if I ever miss them, I just turn those on because it's like my chance to feel connected to him in that moment. I don't know, I feel like everybody kind of has something that they're able to grasp onto in those moments, and it's when we don't have those things that we start to really struggle. So to hear Jaden kind of, you know, have this open letter to his friend essentially, but being able to have that therapeutic element to it is beautiful. Okay, this next track is called Even in the Dark.
3 a.m. back again in the silence, talking to myself, and man, I feel violent.
Fuck.
Reaching for a cigarette and I light it. All this time that you spent with me, walk me home and let's fall asleep. I still follow your shadow, even in the dark. This world was too painful. Hope it's better where you are. And I've been holding on to things that only you would know. Misery loves company, but now I'm all alone.
So just talking exactly about what we were saying in that last track, I still follow your shadow even in the dark. Even though you're not here, I still follow in the footsteps of you and who you were. And that to him brings Jaden closer. Fucking crushing. Like, you know, you hear about losses like this and you empathize because you understand what it's like, but like, just because you understand what it's like doesn't mean you really understand the exact situation that that person is in. And I think when you hear those firsthand accounts, it just hits a little bit fucking harder. It just like, it becomes a lot. It's like a lot. It's very emotionally overwhelming.
Still follow your shadow. Now every time I miss you, I don't wanna miss you. Wish that I could hit you up and tell you I forgive you. I know I'll never get to, but I'll never forget you. I'll celebrate your birthday even if it isn't with you. All this time that you spent with me, walk me home and let's fall asleep.
Fuck.
I still follow your shadow,
god. That harmony just makes it hurt so much more.
And I've been holding on to things that only you would know. Misery loves company, but now I'm all alone. I still follow your shadow. Got me searching in the dark.
Fuck.
You got me looking for your shadow. Got me searching in the dark. You got me looking for your shadow. Got me searching in the dark. You got me looking for your shadow. Got me searching in the dark.
So it's like not even enough that he still follows the shadow, but he's always looking around for his friend, even though he's not there anymore. And again, it really makes me want to reiterate the fact that like loss is so difficult, and like to try to cope with these things is almost impossible. And these moments where you think about, like how many times have you lost somebody and you pick up your phone and you go to call someone that won't be on the other side of that call anymore? And those things like hit in different times and you think you're doing better, and then it'll happen again. And Jaden even says like, and we'll still celebrate your birthday even if it's not with you. Like your memory is going to live on, your spirit is going to live on. And I think that's really important. First, like, not to discredit the loss, like, holy fuck. Like, it's so incredibly emotional, and I'm trying, like, really hard not to, like, lose it. But, like, thinking about somebody that close to you, like, Jaden's best friend, like, thinking about somebody that close to you, and the reality of them not being there anymore hurts. And the sadness is there, and it's a hole that you will never fill. And you think about, like, the families, and you think about like everyone who is coping with that same loss. And from what I understand, Cooper was like, he kind of had like a decent following on the internet. And like, I know people love to give people a hard time for like mourning the loss of somebody, especially like public figures. I see that often where people will be like, you know, you post about somebody who's passed away and the internet's like essentially like trolling you if it's like, oh, you didn't even know that person or blah, blah, blah. But like, we live in a world in which the people that we know online or the people that we follow online, their impact is much bigger than just being an online presence. And like, it's a way for people to cope. Like, I don't know. You follow these people and like, they kind of feel like they really are your friends. And I think the reality hits whenever you find that out. I know just recently, Trevor from the Black Dahlia murder died by suicide, and it was like I was crying, and it's just like, I don't know him personally, but all the years of listening to that band and all the years of following him and like seeing all the things he's doing online, and like there was a real connection, like as far as, you know, me caring about that band and caring about the well-being of the people in that band. And like that shit fucking hurt, and like it still hurts, and I still think about it. And like, I know that, you know, for someone like Cooper, like you have a lot of people that are pouring their heart out, like that affected a lot of people. And when you really zoom in and you look at it from Jaden's perspective of losing his best friend, it just makes everything hurt so much more. And I feel like having the ability to have an outlet, like making these tracks, is really fucking important. Having the ability to set up a charitable foundation in Cooper's name is really fucking important. And those things will not bring anyone back. But what it does is it makes you feel like you're taking things they would have cared about and you're living, like you're allowing them to live on through actions that you're making and things that you do. For example, the birthday. It's just one line in a much bigger track, but it just showcases the fact that even if that person's not there anymore, doesn't mean they have to be gone within you forever. It's really hard to like put that together. It doesn't make sense, right? But that's how people become lost, is when we don't talk about them and when we don't celebrate them and when we don't do things for them. And so the fact that Jaden is following that shadow, not only looking for his friend always, but also following in the footsteps of what his friend did and what he lived and how he like viewed the world, those things are what are going to live on. And honestly, because coping can only do so much, but it is a form of coping, is to still feel like you have that person there with you. These are really beautiful tracks from Jaden. Jaden is somebody with a lot of diversity in his music. I love, you know, everything he's done. I talk about Jaden on a pretty regular basis, but these tracks in particular really play to that emotion. We've got very like somber tracks, especially in Even in the Dark, just that acoustic track, got a little bit of vocal layering. Those things are really to just like, it just pushes the emotion. And I can tell that, you know, Jaden's a great artist, so like whatever he puts out, it's gonna sound pretty good almost always. Like that's just the way it is. You get to a point where things are happening. But I could tell even in these tracks, yes, they sound amazing, but that was not the purpose. The purpose of these were to get his heart out and to allow himself to put like a pen to paper and put his feelings out there. For a lot of musical artists, this is that escape for them. And then getting a chance to play these live and talk about Cooper, like those kind of things are what are going to like align with him the most to help him like, you know, consistently work through this. You don't really ever get over it, so you just always work through it, but you make sure that that memory lives on. I want to give you a huge shout out to Emily over on Patreon for requesting this. Thank you so much for bringing such beautiful tracks to the channel. Again, I'm leaving a link to the foundation that was started by Jaden for Cooper and in Cooper's name. So the link is going to be in the description. Make sure you guys go check that out and let me know in the comment section what you guys think about this. I know it's like a little bit heavy, definitely like a heavy subject, but it's important that we talk about this stuff and, you know, make sure that we all support Jaden going through these tough times. So I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.